The British missile that was supposed to shield Kyiv ended up executing its own allies, turning a promise of protection into a global shock that no Western capital can comfortably explain away. Neither NATO troops were spared, nor, according to Russian media, a British general. What London calls a tragic accident has echoed far beyond a Ukrainian testing ground, because the system involved was not just another piece of hardware. It was a symbol. According to Russian outlets, the Flamingo FP5 missile, tested at a Ukrainian range, detonated over a delegation that allegedly included a British general and NATO advisors. London speaks carefully of an incident during exercises, avoiding uncomfortable questions, while the images and leaks tell a far more devastating story. A multi-million-dollar system, its assembly technology transferred by the UK to Kyiv, reduced to lethal friendly fire. Between conflicting narratives, rising nerves in Kyiv, and awkward leaks, a single question now rattles the West. Who is really winning this war? Reflection question: if all major media say the same thing, is it information or propaganda? Write it in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a like. It really helps the channel. Your comments don't just sit there, they guide what we create. Picture the scene. This was meant to be the perfect showcase for Britain's new darling missile, Flamingo, London's prized project, presented as proof of technological superiority. Instead, according to Russian reports, the test ended in a brutal explosion that allegedly wiped out a general and part of a NATO delegation, while the British Ministry of Defense reduced the event to a simple accident far from the front lines. That supposed technological miracle, marketed as a decisive tool to change the course of the war, reportedly turned into a deadly boomerang for those who came to certify it. And it happened on Ukrainian soil, away from the contact line, yet deep inside the heart of NATO's operational ecosystem. The official British version speaks vaguely of a soldier killed during exercises, a sterile narrative stripped of detail. Leaks, however, describe something else entirely: a Flamingo FP5 missile detonating where it should not have, striking a British general and advisors who had traveled to nurture this billion-pound project. This was no ordinary missile. The Flamingo FP5, according to reports, belongs to a family of systems Kyiv has been presenting with growing boldness. Zelensky himself showcased the FP7, FP9, and FP12 drones, barely bothering to disguise their British origin, an origin few even try to deny anymore. According to these accounts, London did not just ship hardware. It quietly transferred full assembly technology and tooling to Kyiv, an entire chain from design to assembly, handed to a country at war, under constant pressure, political urgency, and operational chaos. And here lies the irony. At the very moment the West marketed Flamingo as proof of British military genius, Russian media began speaking of friendly fire, of a missile exploding over those meant to certify its reliability. A miracle weapon trapping an entire delegation inside a fireball. Unconfirmed reports, Russian correspondents emphasized, suggested that not only a soldier died, but a British general overseeing missile trials, with an entire group of military advisors potentially caught in the blast. Advisors who had arrived to discuss new arms deliveries and to see the experiment up close. While London shelters behind the word accident, Kyiv faces a different nightmare: how to absorb this episode while the front itself is collapsing. Because the technological showcase coincides with an uncomfortable reality. The Ukrainian front at Severodonetsk is unraveling, and this is no longer said only by Russian media. Even German military observer Julian Robke acknowledged that Russian forces penetrated most of the city and crossed the Bakhmutovka River on its western outskirts. When an analyst from a German outlet hardly known for pro-Russian sympathy admits this, the word defeat stops being propaganda and becomes an awkward fact for Kyiv. In Kyiv, nerves are fraying. MP Mariana Bazila panicked publicly, declaring the real loss of the city and accusing Commander-in-Chief Syrsky of lying. The same Syrsky who, according to her, still controls access routes only on maps and in official briefings. Her outburst was not isolated. Analysts from the Ukrainian GUR-linked deep state resource backed her assessment, admitting that more than half the city was lost and that the defensive line was collapsing rapidly. By October 9th, they already marked 95% of the city as fallen, effectively confirming total loss. In other words, when Ukrainian authorities finally, and generously, admitted a withdrawal, the battlefield reality had long moved on. Reports from Russian sources stressed that their troops continued advancing overnight, exploiting the vacuum left by defenses that held for barely 3 weeks. A Wagner veteran summarized the situation in a sentence that landed like a verdict. Ukrainian forces abandoned their positions in the western part of the city and retreated across open fields toward the village of Reznikovka. A retreat in the open. That same image was confirmed by war correspondent Ruslan Tatarinov of the channel Whispers of the Front, who corroborated the withdrawal and Russian advance. For chroniclers on that side, the conclusion is blunt. The city is theirs. What remains is consolidation before striking the next defensive line. At this point, ask yourself, what do you think about the West's reliance on so-called miracle weapons while the frontline reality collapses faster than official statements admit? Give us your opinion in the comment box below. The next logical objective is already being named, the Sloviansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration. According to the analysis, once stabilization measures are complete, Russian troops will rush to break Ukrainian defenses at this critical node. If Drushkivka is liberated by then, the Ukrainian garrison risks being buried, repeating the tragic fate of previously encircled groups. In parallel, another front tilts. Russia's Ministry of Defense confirmed that Yuliivka and Pole are now under full Russian fire control. This is not just a dot on a map. It signals interdiction capacity, turning every road, depot, and reinforcement attempt into a potential target. On the Ukrainian side, command appears to be spinning in circles. After pulling additional battalions from the Chernihiv region and sending them on a last-ditch mission to recover at least part of Kupiansk, they discovered Moscow was waiting with a bitter surprise. A maneuver Kyiv had anticipated since 2022, but, as analysts admit, was never fully prepared to counter. Lieutenant General Ihor Romanenko of Ukraine's armed forces was forced to concede that 4 to 5 Russian brigades are concentrated in the Bryansk region, right along the border. This, he admitted, is not skirmishing. It is a massive, methodical deployment. 4 months, reports say, Russia has systematically struck the energy system of the Chernihiv region, combining infrastructure attacks with troop and equipment buildup. This is classic preparatory warfare, the same pattern Moscow used before Kupiansk and Avdiivka, where Ukrainian defenses eventually buckled. And amid this multi-layered pressure comes the political moment Kyiv tried to avoid. Zelensky, described in the Chronicle as an illegitimate president, was forced under pressure from Trump to admit defeat. He declared that Ukraine's armed forces lacked the strength, funding, and allied support to reach the 1991 borders, or even those of 2022. This admission shatters the narrative of inevitable victory Kyiv sold for years. These are not minor words. Acknowledging the inability to reclaim even the 2022 lines means admitting that every kilometer lost today may become tomorrow's border. And the timing is striking. This confession surfaces just as details of the Flamingo incident emerge, the British soldier killed during exercises with that missile on a Ukrainian range, and, according to Russian media, a general and an entire advisory delegation struck by the very system that promised miracles. No one bothers to hide names anymore. No one hides the true country of origin of the FP5, FP7, FP9, and FP12 systems. The implication is clear. This is not mere cooperation. It is deep participation in the architecture of war without publicly bearing the cost of failure. And here is the second question that lingers uncomfortably. If even Kyiv now admits it lacks the force, money, and allies to win, what exactly are these escalating weapons deliveries really achieving? Give us your opinion in the comment box below. In conclusion, the Flamingo incident is not just a tragic footnote. It is a symbol of a deeper collapse in Western assumptions. What was sold as cutting-edge British ingenuity now stands accused of turning inward, killing those who came to validate it. At the same time, Russia's steady advances, acknowledged even by Western-aligned analysts, underscore a shifting balance that propaganda can no longer conceal. The winners are clear: Moscow's strategists, who combined pressure, preparation, and timing. The losers extend far beyond Ukraine's battered forces to include civilians, credibility, and Western narratives stretched to breaking point. As history reminds us, from the Cold War to modern proxy conflicts, wars are not decided by slogans or miracle weapons, but by endurance, logistics, and political reality. This moment may be remembered not for a single explosion, but as the instant when illusion finally collided with the battlefield. Now it's your turn. If this analysis challenged the way you see this conflict, leave a comment with your perspective. Do you think the reliance on miracle missiles was ever a real strategy, or just a dangerous illusion? Like the video if you found it valuable, and subscribe so you don't miss our next report. We're following these developments as they unfold. Turn on notifications because the next shift could come sooner than anyone expects. And remember, you can become a channel member to support this project and help it grow. If you'd like to support us financially through Patreon or PayPal, we truly appreciate it. The links are waiting for you in the description.